Hello, hello, good people. Hello, good people. I am Dr. Hollie Kelly, and this is Dr. Kelly's Perspective for Thursday, September 14th. Okay, we are halfway through. September almost already. So for those of you who are still challenging yourselves, daily habits, the daily actionable steps that you do will make a difference. But this morning I wanted to speak about something that happened yesterday. When you're on the lookout for things, they just automatically give you everything you're looking for. I am a student, a hungering participant in the arena of leadership, and so it always appears, or the opportunity to lead. I saw this young active, thank you for all who are joining me. There was this young active duty Marine mom yesterday, and the baby's maybe 10 months old, 11 months old. And so I said, well, how's your baby doing? How's everything going? First time mom. And she says, she doesn't, it's difficult because she doesn't really like this daycare. She cries every time. And so we talked a few more minutes. I asked a few more questions. And then I asked her, well, what does your gut say? What does your intuition say? What does your gut say? And she looked at me as if I was speaking Swahili and Mandarin all mangled together. She had no clue. And she said, I don't know what my gut says. And so it made me, and so I worked with her for a few more minutes. But it made me realize that following and listening to and being aware of what your gut is saying is not something that everyone is familiar with. And so I wanted to ask you this afternoon, what does your gut say? Let me just say this. I call it your gut. You may call it intuition. You may call it your sixth sense. You may call it your inner ear, the Holy Spirit, whatever you're calling it. I say the gut. We have all been given a sense of intuition. And it typically falls very strong within our strength zone, within our passion area, that which we are naturally equipped to do. And so I just wanted to ask the question, are you familiar with your gut? Or do you have keen listening ears for your gut? Every time you ignore it, without fail, every time you ignore it, every time you excuse it, every time you justify it, and oh goodness, Hollie, stop being so silly. Every time you do that, nothing good happens from that. when you go against your gut, disastrous things can happen. Costly things can happen. Emotionally costly things can happen. And it doesn't matter who you are. We all have it. Some of us have developed, again, it's not automatically that, oh, well, you're just so good at that. It is a discipline where you develop the art of listening to your gut, your intuition. Two quick stories of things that just can go very, very wrong when you do not listen to your gut. And I'm using Hollie as the example. Okay, so again, our intuition is strongest in our strength zones. So I'm thinking about once, I'm a mom, and I am a fierce mom when it comes to protecting and watching out for my girls. So obviously I have a keen ear. One daughter, now I've driven a diesel for years, and then I recently switched. My daughter asked to take my car, and she said, I'll just stop and get you some gas. Now, my gut said, Hollie, remind her that you are no longer driving a diesel. I mean, she had been used to putting in diesel forever and ever. And I ignored that. I didn't do anything with it. It was a very clear, distinct punch that said, you need to remind her that you no longer drive a diesel. Well, I didn't say a word, and yep, guess what she did? She put in diesel. Thank God she only put in a couple of gallons, but kaput, nothing happened. So about $600 later, you understand that costliness? All I had to do was act on. Even if her response was, oh, I know, Mom. Even if that had been the response, I doubt it would have turned out that cost us $600 later. That's a strength zone. I heard very clearly. I knew what was going on very clearly. Another opportunity, because leadership is a strength zone for me. Well, let me tell you what happens. Again, do not ignore your gut. Your gut will never lie to you. Your gut will never mislead you, ever. It is a matter of our learning to be tuned in and aware of our gut, our intuition. There was a position that needed to be filled. And on paper, it looked like, oh, Hollie, you are perfect for this job. You got to step up. We need a president, and you know the people, you know what you're doing. You're passionate about this. You're the one. Naturally, we're going to vote, and you just need to step on up to the plate. Now, on paper, it did make perfect common sense. My gut immediately said, that is not for you. You do not need to be in that position. Now, and I went through the checklist of knowing Hollie. You got to self-assess and know yourself. I wasn't fearful. I wasn't trying to shirk responsibility. I wasn't, oh, girl, you got too much going on. None of those was my reality. But my gut went against what was even on paper. If you're a keen observer of your gut, you'll go with your gut and not what's written on paper. So I said, okay, yep, sign me up. I'll be Miss President. Disastrous. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was the worst tenure. And I can tell, I know that. I'm not trying to be cute and coy. I was the worst president in that group ever, probably in history. And I'm so serious. And this is the problem with that. It's not that you can say, oh, years later you laugh about being the worst president. No, it's the fact that there are always second and third and fourth order effects. People are attached. Do you know some people never came back to that organization? It was horrendous. I should not have gone against my gut. Somebody would have stepped up, because that's just it. I held up the position for somebody who should have been there. So I'm just saying, the young lady reminded me yesterday, and I ended with, listen, you can give it a little time, but learn and don't ignore your gut. Don't justify it away. And so I'll be checking in on her to see what she has chosen to do. My encouragement to you today is to become a keen observer of what has naturally been given to you. And your intuition is always going to be strongest in the areas where you have the greatest strengths. Learn them. As leaders, we have to be a self-leader first. You're out there trying to lead folk and you can't, find your way out of a paper bag. That's not a pretty picture. Again, second, third, and fourth order effects. There are people attached to you. Okay. Until next time, take real good care of yourselves. And if you need, this is my strength zone. Leadership is what I do. I was designed to do that. I've got, I've just had the opportunity for decades to be in the position to do this. And make a difference and impact lives. If I can help you, hit me up. Until then, take real good care of yourselves.